The ChronoForge portal opens with a burst of light, and suddenly I find myself standing in a world unlike anything I've ever seen.
There are no roads, no cities, no skyscrapers, no written maps, just this. Untouched. It's unbelievable.
Mainly endless forests stretching beyond the horizon, rivers flowing untouched, and the sounds of birds echoing through an ancient wilderness.
I have traveled to North America in 1000 BC, 3,000 years before the modern world. Look at this. Long before Columbus, long before the United States, and long before recorded history in this land. At first glance, the continent appears empty.
But it isn't. Millions of people already call this place home. We're not alone.
They belong to hundreds of different cultures, each speaking its own language. It's truly incredible to see this firsthand, following its own traditions and living according to knowledge passed down through countless generations.
There are no countries or borders here, only vast landscapes.
Filled with forests in the east. And look at this, endless grasslands stretching right across the center, a sea of wild America. Towering mountains in the west. You know, being a time travel vlogger means I get to see some truly incredible places. And let me tell you, this frozen northern tundra is simply breathtaking. And warm southern valleys, where people have learned to thrive in harmony with nature.
As I walk deeper into the forest, I discover a small village hidden among the trees. Look at this!
Thin streams of smoke rise from cooking fires while children laugh and play nearby.
Women grind seeds into flour using smooth stone tools. Hunters return carrying freshly hunted deer, and it's amazing to see their daily survival.
And elders sit together, sharing stories that preserve the memory of their ancestors. The homes are built from wooden poles covered with bark, reeds, clay, and animal hides. Every member of the community has a purpose, because survival depends on cooperation. Some gather berries, nuts, and medicinal plants,
while others fish in nearby rivers or prepare food for the coming winter. Look at them, the way they work together, it's just incredible.
Corn has already begun spreading into parts of North America. Here you can see them using wooden digging sticks. Although many communities still rely heavily on hunting, fishing, and seasonal gathering. Soft laughter. Life is difficult, but these people understand their environment better than anyone who will come after them. Walking through the village, I noticed something surprising. Wait, that's interesting. Many of the tools, ornaments, and decorative objects could not have come from this region. Archaeologists have discovered that even in 1000 BC, enormous trade networks connected distant communities across North America. Copper mined near the Great Lakes traveled hundreds of miles. Nokomis.
Beautiful marine shells collected along the Gulf Coast and Atlantic shoreline appeared far inland.
Rare stones, colorful minerals, and carefully crafted ceremonial objects moved from one community to another through generations of trade.
Long before horses, wagons, or paved roads existed.
Although most people spent their entire lives within a relatively small area, the objects they valued often traveled farther than they ever would. These trade routes carried not only valuable materials, but also new ideas, farming techniques, artistic traditions, and spiritual beliefs
that slowly spread across the continent. As the day continues, I travel farther east where something extraordinary catches my attention. What is that? Oh my goodness, look at it. Wow, this is incredible.
Rising above the landscape are enormous earth mounds, carefully built by human hands. Basket after basket of soil has been carried to create these impressive structures.
Some serve as burial sites honoring important ancestors, while others become ceremonial gathering places where neighboring communities meet during special occasions.
No steel tools, horses, or machinery exist here.
Every handful of earth has been moved through determination, cooperation, and generations of labor.
Thousands of years later, many of these ancient earthworks will still remain, standing as silent reminders of civilizations that most people today know very little about.
As evening approaches, the atmosphere changes. The village is preparing for something sacred. Villagers gather near a large fire, while respected spiritual leaders begin preparing for a sacred ceremony. In this world, there are no churches, temples, or written holy books.
Nature itself is sacred. Rivers, mountains, forests, stars, animals, thunderstorms, and the changing seasons are all believed to possess powerful spiritual meaning.
Elders preserve their history through storytelling, passing knowledge from one generation to the next entirely through memory.
Songs become libraries, ceremonies become classrooms, and every child learns by watching, listening, and participating.
Nothing is written because writing has not yet become part of these societies. If a story is forgotten, it disappears forever. As darkness falls, I realize how fragile life truly is. It's time to understand the challenges they faced. Every winter threatens starvation if food supplies run low. A poor hunting season, unexpected drought, devastating flood, or spreading disease could wipe out an entire village. Firewood means warmth, survival, and life itself during the cold months.
Yet despite these hardships, these communities continue to flourish because they possess an intimate understanding of the land around them. They know when rivers flood, where animals migrate, which plants heal sickness, and how to survive in environments that outsiders would find impossible. Looking toward the night sky, I remember that while these people live their daily lives, great civilizations are also thriving elsewhere in the world. Ancient Egypt continues its long history along the Nile, powerful kingdoms rise across the Near East, and iron technology is beginning to spread through parts of Europe and Asia. But none of that matters here. The people of North America follow their own unique path, completely independent of the civilizations across the oceans.
They have no knowledge of Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, or China, just as those distant civilizations know nothing about this immense continent. Their history will develop in its own remarkable way over the next thousands of years.
As the sun finally disappears beneath the horizon, children settle beside the fire, hunters prepare tomorrow's tools, and elders gaze quietly toward the stars above.
None of them can imagine that one day, millions of people will call this land America. They cannot dream of skyscrapers, highways, airplanes, satellites, or the internet.
Yet everything that will one day become the United States, Canada, and Mexico rests upon generations like these who shaped this continent long before written history began.
The ChronoForge portal begins to glow once more, signaling that my journey through time is coming to an end.
As I step back toward the swirling light, I leave behind a world filled with mystery, resilience, and forgotten civilizations.
This is where America's story truly begins, not with European explorers, not with colonial settlements, and not with the founding of nations, but here, deep within the forests of ancient North America in 1000 BC.
Where countless generations laid the foundations of a civilization whose legacy still echoes across the continent today.
If you want to know where we're traveling next, subscribe and prepare for another jump through history. This is ChronoForge Reborn, signing off until our next adventure.